Okay, so let's have a talk about Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. Since the news has dropped that Donald Trump's pick for Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, the world has been on fire. The political world has been on fire. You have half the people, this is on the right, forget about the left, we'll get to them, but half the people on the right are freaking out. He's not qualified, this is crazy. Everyone on the left is freaking out. This guy's insane. Half the people on the right absolutely love it. This is exactly what we need. So allow me to just lay it out for you here as clearly as I possibly can. And I should probably put a little warning label on what I'm about to say. If you are a Matt Gaetz lover or a Matt Gaetz hater, you will probably be offended by something I'm about to say, and I don't care. That's just kind of how I do it. I speak directly, so here's what it is. Pause on that. Let me tell you a little story, because this is going to apply to what my opinion on Matt Gaetz. This little brief story here. One of the last things I ever did with my old man before he passed away recently is we went fishing. And we got a guide, nothing fancy. He was just a local guy, Louisiana guy. We were trying to catch some redfish. So we go out on the water, me, dad, sons, we're out on the water with this guide. And we know this guy, he's a friend of ours. And the guy starts talking about a major problem he had in the past few years with his son. His son, 16, 17 years old, had basically lost his mind, as young men tend to do, started boozing it up, grades went down, running with the wrong crowd, really started going bad, on a really bad path. And it got so bad to the point that one night his son back-talked his mom, dad stepped in, son threatened to beat dad up. And after that, Dad, Mom got together and said, what's happening to our boy? We're losing our boy. We have to do something drastic. He's on a bad path. We have to do something drastic. And so what they did, have you ever seen these reform-type boot camps? Not military, but they're very much military styles. They'll take kids who've been in trouble with the law, or you can sign people up for these boot camps where they'll take you away and they'll just make your life miserable for a while to straighten you up. They really turn kids around. This guy went and found one of those. He hired them. 3 a.m., he goes to the front door. He lets in these two huge drill instructor type guys. They go kick in his son's door. The kid was shaking. He was so afraid. Dragged him out of his bed in the middle of the night and hauled him off to boot camp, where he lived a life of hell for a couple months, scrubbing toilets with the toothbrush, screamed at, the works, boot camp. You know where that kid is now? Straight A's. Back to being an elite athlete. Life completely turned around. Back on the straight and narrow. That's a true story. Why do I like Matt Gaetz? Well, I'm here to tell you right now, I find Matt Gaetz to be completely obnoxious most of the time. I don't think he's somebody I even want to have a beer with. And that's the exact kind of person we need to take over a DOJ that is destroying the United States of America. If you are on a bad path in life, whether you're a business, a DOJ, an individual, you oftentimes need disruption. And disruption is uncomfortable. It makes you squirm in your chair. It doesn't feel good to send a couple drill instructors into your son's room and snatch him out of his bed and send him off to hell for a couple months. That sucks. It's hard. It's miserable. We have a Department of Justice that has declared war on the American people. From pro-lifers to Donald Trump to angry school board moms, what has taken place within the walls of the DOJ in just the last 4 years alone, it's not bad, it's not partisan. If you study history at all, it's positively horrifying. It's how countries turn into murderous, tyrannical dictatorships. That's how evil the Department of Justice has been. And the Department of Justice, if you will pardon my language, needs an enema in the worst possible way. I don't want nice. I don't want polite. I don't want a gentleman. No more Jeff Sessions types. This is exactly what I want.
I take no lecture on asking patriotic Americans to weigh in and contribute to this fight from those who would grovel and bend knee for the lobbyists and special interests who own our leadership, who have boo all you want, who have hollowed out this town and have borrowed against the future of our future generations. I'll be happy to fund my political operation through the work of hardworking Americans, $10 and $20 and $30 at a time, and you all keep showing up at the lobbyist fundraisers and see how that goes for you. I reserve.
You hear the booing? I'm going to explain something to you. You might not like that. Maybe that kind of talk makes you uncomfortable. I don't know whether it's courage or whether he's just one of these people like me that genuinely just doesn't care about what people think about him. But to stand up on the House floor and criticize how 95% of those people handle their business, and to call them all a bunch of corrupt scumbags to their face, that's gutsy. And that kind of disregard for being liked by the people around you is exactly what we need to reform things and maybe save this country and shake things up. I understand the people out there, the Matt Gaetz haters, who say he's this, he's not that, he's this, he's not that. I totally get where you're coming from. I do. But please hear me when I tell you there's no comfortable way, there's no nice, polite way to turn around the life of the 16-year-old boy who tries to beat up his father. There needs to be a severe disruption, a severe realignment that makes everybody uncomfortable. And there is no nice, polite way to walk into the Department of Justice that has declared war on you and turn things around. Can't we do it politely? Don't we have a senator who's very nice and his suits really look good on him and he's got gray hair? Seems like my grandpa. We've done that and nothing changed. Nothing happened. We need a bull. We need a rabid dog. That's what we need now. Do I need to remind you what Meritt Garland and Jack Smith just tried to do to the political opponent of the President of the United States of America?
Mr. Garland, why Jack Smith? Why'd you pick him?
I appointed somebody who was not a political appointee, somebody who was independent, nonpartisan, with a record of career experience as a prosecutor.
Do you regret the pick?
I'm sorry, Ken?
Do you regret picking him?
No, I do not regret picking him.
Well, prosecutors aren't supposed to tamper with evidence, and it looks like that's what he did. He changed the sequence of the documents that he seized from Mar-a-Lago.
I'm sorry, that's a false characterization, but that is ongoing.
Here's what he said to the court, Mr. Attorney General. There are some boxes where the order of items within the box is not the same as in the associated scans. I mean, he said it. I didn't say it. He told the court that.
Now you're asking me to comment on a discovery dispute that's ongoing in a court. I don't know the facts of it, and I'm not going to comment on it.
No, this is from Jack Smith filing with the court.
Jack Smith was turned loose by the Attorney General of the United States of America to prosecute Joe Biden's political opponent. I know we know all these things and they've kind of been baked into the cake by now, but that action alone should land Meritt Garland and everyone involved in prison. The Department of Justice, under Meritt Garland's direction, the Department of Justice threw a hissy fit after Roe versus Wade got overturned, and they dug up an obscure law, the FACE Act, and used an obscure law to hunt down pro-lifers using FBI SWAT teams, and little old ladies are rotting in prison right now because Meritt Garland got mad about Roe versus Wade being overturned. This is Banana Republic. This kind of crap happens in Venezuela, in some Middle Eastern dump that has a dictator. This stuff is happening now in the United States of America. So please spare me the everybody getting the vapors, Lisa Murkowski getting the vapors about Matt Gaetz.
I don't think it's a serious nomination for the Attorney General. We need to have a serious Attorney General, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to consider somebody that is serious. This one was not on my bingo card.
Oh, she's not alone. Reportedly, senators' jaws hit the floor when it was announced.
You could literally hear the jaws dropping to the floor. of Republican senators who are now going to be in a position to stand up to Donald Trump in a way that they have been unwilling to. I mean, listen, Matt Gaetz is dangerously unqualified, but that's not the worst of it. Gaetz has been Trump's chief defender when it comes to Trump's assault on democracy, his attempt to overthrow the government on January 6th, and he has openly called for the abolition of law enforcement agencies if they don't get in line with conservative political priorities. This is going to be a red alert moment for American democracy.
That's exactly right. It's a red alert for all the dirty commies in the DOJ. I have heard your concerns. I understand your concerns. I am here to tell you we cannot nice our way out of this. We can't polite our way out of this. Every now and then, if things are bad enough, your kid needs to get hauled off to boot camp to straighten out his life. Things are so bad within the walls of the Department of Justice, we need a disruptor that will walk in there with no regard for how people think about him, with no regard for making friends in Washington, D.C. We need a pit bull to walk in there and start biting everyone. If you want to feel better about this, allow me to leave you with this before we go to Congressman Chip Roy. Picture Matt Gaetz standing in front of a room of communist lawyers at the DOJ who've spent their time arresting pro-lifers and school board moms. Picture Matt Gaetz standing up there in front of all of them and telling all of them you're fired. Sign me up for that. It doesn't matter that I don't want to be friends with him. He's exactly where he's heading, exactly where he needs to be, a place where he can shake things up. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.